If you're going through this or know somebody that is, stop and listen. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what happened to me. When I walked in the doctor's office, he shared that, we're going to have to do a biopsy. And he changed his mind. He looked at me and said, there's no reason to wait. So we scheduled surgery. So obviously I left the doctor's office. I was feeling pretty low, kind of surreal, kind of everything was in slow motion. So I went home and told my family. As I shared, I had a baby on the way and a 2-year-old son. Of course, you get home and son's happy to see you, and you got to keep that composure so you don't think there's anything wrong. So, of course, I didn't. I didn't act like there was anything wrong, and I told my family. And of course, they're all positive. Oh, it's probably nothing. Everything's going to be all right, and this and that. And so, then began my journey. Waiting for surgery day. I believe it was like a week out or something like that. And of course, the time before surgery was really scary, but it was an outpatient, so I didn't have to go into the hospital, spend a bunch of time. So went to the outpatient, my doctor, and he was, obviously super great guy and encouraging things. We don't know what it is. Might be something not, nothing major. So, but I could tell that there's something definitely wrong. So I went in and had it done. It only took like an hour, and of course I got to go home and it was groggy all day. The doctor didn't share anything because they don't know yet. So they gotta send it in for a diagnosis. And so when I get home, obviously you can't let up to my son that anything's wrong. But I told him, I got an owie. It's like, so you don't want him jumping on your lap or something like that. But and I don't believe I shared, but what I had was when I said I had a strain, I had a swollen testicle. So that's what it was. And that's what, why I thought it was a strain. And they removed the testicle and had to send it in for a biopsy diagnosis. So anyway, I didn't know exactly what I had, but man, I knew I was scared. So, the next step was, waiting for the diagnosis. So, doctor called me in and he told me what it was, and it was cancer called seminoma. It was there was apparently in young men, I was like in my 30s, that there's 2 different types, and this was the most curable. So, which I was really happy. So they scheduled me for radiation treatments because he had shared that it didn't seem that there was any spread. So, actually, before the radiation treatments, he scheduled me for an MRI. I went in and did the MRI, and it found out that it had spread. So I had a mass in my chest and in my groin, and so who knows how long it was there. I didn't even know. I didn't feel bad or anything. It's just that one day I noticed that it was swollen. So that's the scary part. It's just it's something growing inside you. You don't even realize it. So, and they said, no, it's curable. It's like, we go through a little bit of radiation treatments and everything will be fine. And went through that, and that was a little rough. Just scary. Laying on the table and everybody leaves the room and they're behind a big piece of glass. You're all in there by yourself, and so, yeah, that was a tough time. Everything started to kind of come home, and you feel alone. And fortunately, I had my faith in God, and And all through this, that ultimately is what got me through it, because, you know, I didn't know anybody that's been through it. You know, although my mom passed away, she had cancer, but, you know, I didn't really talk to her a lot about it. You know, we just wanted her to get better. So I didn't really know the ins and outs. So that was what got me through it, was my faith in God. Because like I said, you know, you're all alone, and a lot of people, they can't relate. So where do you go? You know, you got to have something to hang on to. So that's about it. I'm going to share right now. I'll go into more videos about this down the line. There's a lot to share. So stay with me. I'll share the good side and the bad sides, and ultimately the good side. I'm still here, so, which is important for my family and for me too. So you guys have a great evening, and we'll catch you on the next video.